And welcome to the Mediocre Photography Show. My name's Ben.
And my name's Jack.
And today we're coming at you with another photo conversation. This week's word, faithful. Which, I'm curious, Jack, what did you think about this word just before we go any further?
Difficult. It's quite a positive word.
You thought it was difficult. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's quite a positive word, isn't it? So I was trying to flip it.
Naturally.
Yeah.
So because we are completely religious with this kind of thing, it's my turn to go first this time. So let me send you the photo and you can see what you think.
Ooh.
So for those of you that saw our last video, this photo may look a little bit familiar to you. This photo was taken at the Uffington White Horse National Trust Park place. And it is a photo not of the horse itself, but of a place called Dragon Hill. And Dragon Hill is rumoured to be where St. George slayed the dragon. And the reason that the ground is white there is the dragon's poisonous blood stained it that way. So, as you can probably guess, I've taken this as a slightly different way to how maybe you would normally take this word. You might immediately be thinking, oh, well, what does a white horse have to do with the word faithful? And to answer that, I should probably tell you that I've been questioning and thinking quite a lot about what the word faithful means from a religious context. And those questions have been leading me to think about such things as, is organised religion a positive thing? Is organised religion a negative thing? And the word faithful allowed me to do that in an interesting way because it leads itself quite nicely to a broad definition of religion without tying itself too much to it in some way like, I don't know, say the word church or clergyman might, perhaps. Interestingly, the White Horse of Uffington does have religious connotations. I mean, St. George was, after all, well, a saint. However, like the word faithful, it doesn't link particularly hard to those religious connotations. This trip allowed me to ponder such light-hearted questions such as, what is spirituality? What are the advantages of organised and disorganised religion? Is there a factor in the equation of the universe that we're all missing? And it filled me with, well, existential dread, to be quite brutally honest. Obviously, I don't have answers for this question, and I would recommend checking out a philosophy podcast if you were pondering such thoughts as I've been pondering. It allows me to question what religion means for different people, and how you can take something which is quite organised religion, and you can take something which is significantly less organised, and have it mean similar things. So I suppose we should talk about the photo as well. And without blowing my own trumpet too much, I nailed it. I absolutely love the composition of this photo. I think that it leads itself incredibly well to the traditional form of the rule of thirds, and using that pictorial style visual narrative in order to show off the photo, but it also breaks the rules in a lot of ways as well. For example, having the relatively complex foreground in the photo and actually having the beak of the white horse itself in the image as well. Everything leads to Dragon Hill, which I decided to photograph for this, A, because I wanted it to be not just another photo of the white horse, but B, I felt that that was the most religious part of the location as well. Once you get past Dragon Hill, you then lead into the picturesque English fields. And I think that these fields work very well and definitely add to the photo because A, they have enough complexity in them that they don't overpower the photo, but they're not boring to look at. But B, if you look very closely, you can also see some bonus chalk drawings in there as well, which I do quite like because it shows that there's like a lot of things in that part of the world, more than just the main attraction. So that's pretty much my photo. I think to conclude, it links to the word faithful quite well, and it links to what I'm drawing from the word faithful quite well. Maybe it is a little bit of a leap without too much context, but I think that it still works once it's been explained. What are your thoughts, Jack?
Well, as soon as you sent this to me, as soon as I saw the video, actually, I was I messaged you immediately, didn't I? Saying, I love that first photo. No, yeah, I think I like the contrast between the fields and sort of the light fields on the left and the dark fields on the right, and how it's split, like straight down the middle. I think it's quite satisfying. In terms of context, obviously I didn't know anything about religion at all, but I think you have linked it well. Obviously there's the faithful links to religion, which that's what you went for. But yeah, I think the context is solid. But I just can't get over how visually stunning it is, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a good photo. We were lucky that day, actually. It was nice, and I think the White Horse, as incredible as it is, isn't the most well known feature of the UK. Like from the Bronze Age, I think it does often get a little bit lost under things like Stonehenge and Edinburgh Castle, which is Bronze Age as well. There's a lot of other significantly more impressive features than it. And so I wanted it to be a little bit more niche in that sense as well. And, like how I've been thinking about spirituality and disorganized religion, photograph and show something that's perhaps a little bit out of the mainstream and a little bit less on the beaten track.
My first thoughts would have... Oh, here we go. Right. Right. My first thoughts for the word faithful were linking to relationships with a partner. For obvious reasons, I didn't go for that.
And what reasons were they, Jack?
I don't know, I can't get a girlfriend. Maybe. Anyway, so I didn't choose to do the faithful linking to relationships, but I did think about sort of being faithful to yourself. I googled that and it just came up with a load of like bull, and by bull I mean like positive quotes.
Quasi-inspirational Pinterest gurus.
Yeah, those sort of people. The thing that did stick with me though was the idea of being true to yourself. I know good public speaker, and for most presentations during uni I felt more comfortable in front of people dressing up. No, not that. And no, definitely not that. My point is that I struggle with myself. I filter what I say, and even after I've done that, I overthink about how my words have affected other people. I think this is why I feel more comfortable acting as a character. It sort of relieves me of the stress of being me. So this is the photo. So the first thing you noticed is that I have clothes on.
Damn.
The photo is different to my normal, less clothed work, but still lays bare the current state of my mental health. Visually, I wanted a more consistent grey for this image. I wanted to experiment with how it would affect the atmosphere, and I was also sort of forced into making that editing choice because of how boring the light was. Personally, I like the house in the background, but I'm not too keen on the hanging branches on the left hand side of the image. I think without them, the atmosphere of the image would have changed dramatically, and it would have created more of a isolated atmosphere. As I looked at the image more and more, I got this sort of sense of nostalgia, like I'd sort of seen the image before. This is my primary school year and I singing a remix of Taylor Swift's Love Story at our Leavers Assembly in Year 6 11 years ago. We had to dress as our future selves, and I'm the one in the blue shirt and the orange high-vis jacket. Personally, this nostalgia and context adds a lot of meaning to the image for me. At 11 years old, I was surrounded by kids that wanted to be Olympians, pop stars, and a physio footballer. I even remember my mum and dad asking, "Are you sure you want to dress up as a postman for your leavers assembly?" But at that age, I didn't care. I was being true to myself. So visually, I think the image is very disappointing. And if I want to continue with characters in upcoming projects, there's some progress to be made.
Right.
Where do you begin? Possibly at how bad the image is.
How much do you want your feelings hurt?
Don't know. Why, how brutal are you going to be?
Probably about a 7.
A 7 out of 10?
Yeah.
That's like your usual,
Sorry,
isn't it?
I thought my usual was like a 3 or 4. The way that I see this photo is that you've got 2 different narratives here, right? You've got the one where you're trying to be true to yourself, except you're not being true to yourself because you're dressing up and playing a character. And then the second narrative is where you are being true to yourself because you want to be a postman, but that's playing a character. My point is that I think you're a little bit confused with what you want this image to say on this shot.
Before you carry on, I found this video after I'd taken the photo.
Right. Okay, first of all, I should say this. You, as the author of a photograph, have the power to choose what that photo says, and you have the power to choose what it doesn't say. Now, for me personally, I found the story of how you were there in year 6, everybody else wanted to be like these super cliched things, but you wanted to be a postman. I found that like a really, really sweet story. And the reason that I found that was a really sweet story is because it builds on something that you have worked on and that you know very well, which is your family relationships. And I hope you don't mind me saying, and of course if you do I can cut it, but your dad's a postman. And you know, I think that just, it really adds another element to this, and you know, something with this story. However, the whole thing of, oh, I want to play a character and that's the only way that I can see myself through these eyes. Everybody knows that. Like, everybody does that. Everybody puts their best foot forward and, you know, tries to show a version of themselves which they think is the best possible version. That's not new. And B, it's kind of like slapping the mental health stamp on another photo. I think that you shouldn't be afraid to explore some of the more non-traditional sides of mental health and self-identity, because that's what this project is about. But if every single photo is, oh, this is how sad I am, oh, this is how anxious I get, it kind of begins to come across as a little bit self-righteous, and it kind of begins to come across as perhaps almost a little bit insincere as well. As far as the photo is concerned itself, sorry, just looking at the photo to remind myself, I don't hate it at all. I don't get, you know, it's not one of the strongest photos that you've taken. That's fine. Again, as we were discussing a couple of weeks ago, you ebb and plateau, don't you? And you can't have every single photo to be an absolute banger, because otherwise it's like, you know, you're on an ecstasy high for the entire book, and you know, it doesn't have that same conversation. It's kind of like if you was reading a novel but the whole book is in caps lock, you know. So I don't mind that the photo is a little bit more still. It is a little bit slower, perhaps. I think that it's consistent visually with the rest of the series, which I think is very positive. I would like to see you a little bit closer in the photo. I think just cropping that down a little bit will definitely add to that. And then the other thing as well is that because you are slap bang in the middle, I don't know, it just makes it seem a little bit rushed. I think you don't have to go and retake the photo, but yeah, just tweaking the composition just a little bit, just with the crop, is really just going to bring that photo home and just add an extra element to it.
Right, yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, I think that I part of me, when I found the video, or sort of thought, oh wait, hold on, there's a video of me in a postman's uniform somewhere else, and I just couldn't remember, and I just scrolled through like year 6 or like all my year 6 mates' Facebooks, and I found this video and I was like, oh my god, and I came up with that sort of context fairly quickly, so I'm happy that you like that one.
Yeah.
But yeah. it was I'd taken this photo, before the photo I'd come up with this context, and then I found another context, and I didn't think, oh, I'm just going to change it. I thought I'll put both in there.
Right. Let's choose another word.
Oh,
Every week.
Every week we do this. You ready?
I am ready.
It's another positive one.
Good.
It's harmony.
Harmony.
Harmony is the new word.
Yeah. I could do harmony. Could you do harmony, Jack?
I'll give it a go.
That's all I need to hear. Alright. Cool. Well, let's wrap this up and... Yes. If you like the video...
Do you not need to say...
No, that's not what we do for this one. That's the other one that we do.
Yeah. It all gets
If
so
you want to get
confusing.
involved with our photo conversations, then please feel free to use the hashtag a mediocre conversation on Instagram, and you can have the chance to be featured on the show. Tune in 2 weeks' time, where Jack and I are going to be discussing our harmonious photos. Jack, if people liked your photos and want to see more by you, where can they find you?
That'll be at Jack Henderson Photo. And Ben, if they liked your photo, where can they find you?
You can find me at Ben Borman Photo. And where can people find our Instagram?
At the Mediocre Photo.
That's good. That was a bad segue, but we're rolling with it because my battery is on critical.
Same.
If you liked it, like it. If you really liked it, subscribe. And I promise to be less grumpy next week. And we'll see you when I'm less grumpy next week.
Cheers.
Bye.